Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 14. I wanted to make this video because I woke up with a problem with my eye this morning, so I'm going to cancel the Zoom class. But I do want to go over a few things with you. So if you navigate to week 14 on Blackboard, this week we'll be reviewing Oedipus, discussing the research paper, and preparing for the final exam, which is next week. Let me go through this just like I normally would for class, and then that way, if you have any questions or concerns, you can communicate with me throughout the week. The first thing, is the updates. Just a reminder, this is an A week, so you have formatives today and on Thursday only. Progress reports upload this Friday, so if there's something in one of your classes that you need to attend to, just a little heads up that this Friday is the progress report upload. The time frame between the progress report upload and the end of the semester is really close together, and for this class, it's next week. So, progress reports close pretty close to the end of the semester for some reason this year. STC instructor evaluations, only a few people have done these. I really want to encourage you to fill those out. They don't take very long. You don't have to type in comments. You can just do the ratings, but it's really important that you do that. And they close this Friday. So after this Friday, you won't be able to submit those any longer. So please take a few minutes to do that. Our final exam is going to be next Thursday on the 10th. I will talk about that a little bit more when I show you the exam study guide and all of that stuff in today's lesson. The last update is that I want to remind you that if you are absent, it's important that you watch the class period for the day that you are not present for the Zoom. A lot of times I'm getting emails from people asking questions that make it obvious that they did not watch the class period because everything was explained during the class period. So I don't mind helping you out, but just know that if you email me a question that was clearly answered in the class period, it's obvious to me that you did not do what you're supposed to do by going and watching the class period that you missed. So there's a link here to the YouTube playlist for all of the class recordings for our class, and you can go there and watch any class period. You can even do that, after the fact. So say even you were in class, you can go back and watch certain key elements of a class period that could help you with your research paper or studying, etc. All right, let me get into the lesson for today. So I was going to, in class today, go over the research paper. I spent a good amount of time talking about that in last class period. So you can go back and view that as well. But the research paper should be underway. You should be working right now on narrowing down your topic. There are 6 topics to choose from here. You can see them in the middle of the page. They all have to deal with Oedipus Rex and different aspects of the play. So if you are having trouble narrowing down your topic, if you're having trouble finding information on your topic, please communicate with me. We can do a quick Zoom. Hopefully my eye will be better tomorrow and later on in the week. So we can do a quick Zoom and we can talk about your paper, or you can send me your concerns by email and I can respond to you. But I don't want you to get into a situation where it's 2 days before the paper's due and you get started on it and find out that there are issues. So at this point, you should have chosen a topic and you should have started your research. Just a reminder that this is a research paper. This is not an opinion paper. This is not an analysis paper. So all you're really doing, and I put a note here in yellow so that it will be clear. All you're really doing is finding out what other researchers and literary theorists have had to say about Oedipus Rex on your particular topic over the years. So people have been writing about Oedipus Rex for a long time now. So you can go into the databases that are available through STC. I put some links down here on the second page where you can go to JSTOR or do a database search and look for articles. I would use keywords based on your topic and search for articles that are on that topic. You need at least three. So you should make sure that you have a variety of voices that you are researching. You might have to read several different articles or portions of them to determine which articles are going to work for your paper. But the final draft paper is due on Saturday the 12th. That's the very latest day that I can make it. That gives me about 1 day, day and a half to grade them all and submit my STC grades on Monday the 14th. So I don't think I'm going to have a lot of trouble doing that, but it is going to be a little bit of a press in order to give you the maximum amount of time to work on your paper. So I did put the requirements here for submitting them on Blackboard. You should only be using scholarly sources. I did put some suggested research steps if you have not had many experiences with writing this kind of a paper. There are some suggested steps right here that you can follow to go through that. I will be giving feedback on your draft to you. If you want to, you can send it to me by December the 8th. Just, share it in a Google Doc and email me, and I will give you some feedback on how it's going. It doesn't have to be a complete draft, and this is not a grade, but in order to ensure that your paper is of the highest quality and is going to give you the grade that you desire, you might want to, just share it with me and get some of my thoughts on your work before you submit the final. Obviously, when you submit the final on that Saturday, the 12th, that's it. I can't, there's not going to be an opportunity to redo it because it's the end of the semester. So I just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to run it by me beforehand. There is a rubric. It's right here. So let me open that to look at the main components of this paper. So obviously your thesis and support is crucial. So you should have a strong thesis statement. Over here it describes the best possible type of thesis statement, that it prepares the reader to understand the essay. In a way, you're sort of taking on the role of a teacher in this research paper because you've done the background and research on the topic and you've read the articles. So your essay is really teaching the reader what you discovered about that particular topic regarding Oedipus Rex. So if it does a good job of that, you should be over here in the superior section. Your paper should be cohesive. In other words, it should tie together. Each paragraph should have a purpose, and each paragraph should lead into the next paragraph and flow from one idea to another in a logical way. Your secondary sources should be scholarly and diverse. So you should make sure that you use source material that doesn't say the same thing. Don't choose 2 or 3 articles that all basically reinforce each other's idea. You should be reading articles and choosing articles to highlight in your paper that have different opinions on your topic or different ideas to present. Use of convention, obviously, the top level papers will have been spell checked, use Grammarly, double check for punctuation, grammar, spelling, all that stuff. The paper should be written in a college level vocabulary voice. That doesn't mean that you need to go and look up every other word in the thesaurus. It just means that it should be professional sounding, it should be advanced level in its word choice. The top papers will meet all the requirements and will be formatted in MLA. I don't think there's too many people who are struggling with MLA at this point, but I think I did put some resources over here on the paper about MLA paper format and documentation. And again, if you aren't sure about citing your sources, etc., then you can share your paper with me, and I will help you edit it so that it's correct and show you what to do with your sources, with your parenthetical references, and with your works cited at the end. I don't want to have to take off points on your final because you didn't follow the rules of MLA. So you have the opportunity to share it with me ahead of time. So that really takes care of the research paper. If there are questions that come up or concerns, please contact me and I will get back to you right away. The other thing that's coming up is the semester exam. That is next week, Thursday. And if you click right here on the final exam study guide, you'll see that I prepared a document that will help you study for the test. So let me go through that and show you how the study guide works. I'm calling this a study guide and not a review because the review implies that you would have to do something and turn it in. I'm not going to be grading a review or the study guide. I'll know if you studied for the exam based on your score on the exam. So the study guide is just a tool for you to prepare in the best way possible for your exam. It is a significant grade in both the EAST and STC grade books. So I tried to make as complete a document as possible to help you through the process of preparing for that exam. So the exam date will be Thursday. You'll have all day on Thursday to start the exam. It's a 2-hour time window. So once you start, you'll have 2 hours to complete the exam and submit it. It will be on Blackboard, and so you'll access it there. And I'll give you more information about that Tuesday about exactly how to access it, but it's going to be pretty straightforward there on Blackboard. You'll be asked to define and use terminology that we've studied this term. So I do have that aspect in the review that you can, that I'll show you in a minute. It is a cumulative exam, meaning that the topics that we studied from the entire semester will be on the test. We'll go all the way back to short fiction, and the test will include terminology and concepts through poetry and into drama. So we'll be calling up all of those notes that you have on the um, terms from your readings, and they won't all be on the exam. In a 2-hour exam, I can't possibly, well, I could put all of them on, but there are a lot of terms, and I think that it would be difficult for you to complete an exam with every single term on it for in 2 hours. So um, the study document is a resource. It will not be submitted for a grade, so there's no questions and answers. This is just a tool for you to prepare. A reminder that the exam will count for 20% of your semester average on the EAST grade and 25% for the STC grade. So the exam will have multiple choice matching questions on terminology. Like I said, not every single term will be on the test. It'll be a good representation of each one of the units that we've studied, short fiction, poetry, and drama terms. There will also be multiple choice questions asking you to analyze new literary passages. There will likely be one poem and one piece of short fiction. There will be new pieces that we have not worked with in class, and you'll be asked to answer some questions that ask you to analyze those pieces. So I will not be asking you to recall details from Araby or asking you questions about poems that we read that you have to memorize and replay back on the exam. What you have to do is use your skills of analysis to answer multiple choice questions and then define the terminology that we've been studying. There will be a written portion on the exam where I will ask you to write about an analysis form about a poem or piece of short fiction that is on the test. In order to save time, the written part will come from the multiple choice new passage. So there'll be a new poem on the test, there'll be a new piece of short fiction on the test, and the written part will come from those same poems, that same poem or same short piece of fiction. So you won't have to read a third piece of, on the exam for the written portion. You'll have already have read those by the time you get to the written portion. I already said this information about Blackboard, and also about not every skill. Okay, so basically what I did was I made a matrix. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. I made a matrix to help you study, and you can use this to whatever level you need in order to prepare for the exam. So the first thing I did was I went back through all of the reading assignments that I have made this term, and I made a list for you of all of the terms in those reading assignments. So these are all the eligible terms for the exam. Maybe a question will be a matching, like define this term, or maybe there'll be a multiple choice question on a poem that utilizes a term. So these are all the terms that we've studied this semester, and I have them all in a document here. You can make a copy of this document and use it if you want to, but these are all of the eligible terms for the exam. I also put the page numbers in here so that you can go back and double check your notes to see where, in case you're missing something, but that list is available to you there. Then what I did was I took every reading assignment for each one of our subjects. We studied short fiction first, and then we moved through poetry and into drama. So in the column over here on the left, you'll see the reading assignment that I made. I made pretty much a reading assignment each week. Some were longer than others, but every one of them is listed here, along with a few extra things that I um, I did in notes in the class periods or referenced, etc. So I put in the textbook pages if it applies, um, and then some of them have little in our textbook have little checklists that will help you write about that topic. So in case there's a question, the written portion is about character or setting, you can go back and revisit those writing checklist pages that help you write about that particular topic. So say on the exam, I ask you to do a written analysis. It'll probably be a paragraph or so, a longer paragraph. It won't be a complete essay. But say I ask you to write about point of view. If you have reviewed the questions that are on page 317, it will give you a good idea of how to map a response to that and what to write about when we're asking about point of view. So I put those reference pages here just in case that will help you. You've already read them, but you could go back and review. Then here is the PDF of those pages, just in case it's easier for you than your book. Some of the information from this term was in slideshow format, so I've linked you here to that original slideshow, and you can go back and revisit the lenses. You can go back and revisit, the terminology that I did on Greek drama, or any of the pages here to go back and refresh your memory on those pages. The last column, I think, is especially helpful because what I did was each time that I made an assignment for reading from the textbook, the very next class period, I came in and went over those pages. So I've linked you here to the video of me talking about that reading assignment, the terms that are in that section. And the link here is to that class period's video and to the moment in the video where I start talking about that because I sort of, just jumped in the video to where I did that in that particular class period. So that you don't have to try to find it in, some of them are an hour long. You have to go and try to find where it is that I was talking about that. I've already located that time for you. And you can see that when you click this, it will open to that exact time frame right here. So I already went back and set that up for you so that you can watch what I had to say about those topics when I went over them in class. So I feel like this is a pretty comprehensive tool to help you prepare for the exam if you use it to your advantage. So I would encourage you to do that. I wanted to set you up for success by giving all of this to you here on a matrix. So hopefully you will take the time to review. I think that you're going to need to study. You know, Everybody has a different way of studying, but I would say to do a good job on the exam, probably minimum 3, 4 hours before the exam. And that's if you've been doing your readings, making your notes, participating in class, etc. If not, you might have to spend more time studying, but that's just a thumbnail. Everybody has different retention rates in their mind and so on. But hopefully, you have all the tools here that will help you to do that. I did add a few things after the chart here, just so that you can focus on some skills. So there are some other things that you should sort of prepare for the exam. You should be able to analyze a new piece of fiction or a poem. I'm not going to put a play on the exam for you to read, it's too long. But I may ask you some questions about literary elements in Oedipus Rex. I might pull a passage from Oedipus Rex and ask you some questions about it using terminology, multiple choice type things. Theatrical aspects, I might ask you about stage directions or tragedy terminology. And so we'll be referencing Oedipus Rex in that way. You should be able to articulate a theme in a poem or a short piece of fiction. Reading something new, you should be able to come up with the life lesson that is referenced in that piece, or a life lesson, because we practiced that when we were doing our 1, 2, 3 analysis on poetry, and also when we talked about theme in short fiction. You should be able to use critical theories to advance and support an idea about a new poem or short piece of fiction. So the writing aspect of the exam might ask you to use a lens and look at a passage from a certain viewpoint or perspective. And you should be able to use literary terminology accurately when you write about literature. So overall, this study guide is designed to be a companion to you as you prepare for the exam. And if you have any questions about it, especially, it took me a long time to do all these links and things. I'm hoping that they're right. But if you notice an error, please email me and let me know so that I can correct it, because the same document, about 60 different people are using it, and I want to make sure that it's accurate. So I'm pretty sure it's good, but just in case you run into an issue, please let me know and I can correct it. All right, so that's it for the study guide. There is an assignment this week to wrap up Oedipus Rex. Besides studying for the exam and working on your research paper, there is a reflection slides assignment. So I'm going to go over to Google Classroom for a second. And hold on, I forgot to save this. That's the message I'm about to send you. Okay. So on the assignments, you will see this assignment today, Oedipus Rex reflection slides under assignments. So what you're going to do is, this will make a copy for you of this slideshow, and you're going to edit it and turn it in on Google. This is just an opportunity for you to wrap up your ideas on the play. So on the directions, you can see contemplate the idea on each of the yellow slides, respond to each idea on the white slide. So everything that's in yellow is like a question, and then the white slide is a place for you to go ahead and put in your answer to that question. So if you go through, you'll see that there's a slide that has a comment. It's this one, I think. Well, one of them has a comment. In other words, there are different activities that I need for you to do based on Oedipus, and then there are some places for you to go ahead and do that. There are 5, I think. 5 different things to contemplate. So if you go through it, then I think it will be self-explanatory. But again, if you have questions, let me know. So this is just a way for you to get some final thoughts about the play as we wrap up our study and move into research paper and exam mode. So that one's due on, hold on, back to Google. That one's due Saturday, the 5th. I think that wraps it up for today. So mainly your work is focused on wrapping up Oedipus Rex, working on your research paper, and preparing for the exam. So if I can be of any assistance to you in any of those activities, then please let me know. I apologize for canceling class, but as it is, I'm making this video with one eye open, and I'm going to try to get an appointment with my eye doctor to see if they can figure out what's wrong with my other eye. In any case, I hope you all have a good week, and I will have class with you next Tuesday. Bye.